fact that you are merging does not necessarily mean that you are going to lose jobs.
Federal Executive Council makes far-reaching decisions, approves implementation of Arosori's report and recommencement of suspended National Social Investment Program. Southeast to experience industrial upgrade, courtesy federal government's Light Up Nigeria project.
We gather here today to embark on a transformative journey, the launch of the Light Up Nigeria project in the southeastern states.
National Assembly begins Constitution Amendment, creation of state police in front row.
We await executive-sponsored bill proposals that reflect issues on the renewed hope agenda of our very own president.
Good evening and welcome to the Network News. I am Olajide Bello, and we'll also be having a live interview with Comrade Isa Aremodu DG, Michael Imodu, National Institute for Labour Studies, later in the course of the news. Now, joining me from Lagos is Adeola Komi Akere, and business news will be with Musa Abubakar. Remember, you could watch this broadcast live on our website, nta.ng/live, and on our other social media handles displayed on your screen. Now let's start with the Federal Executive Council meeting. President Bola Tinubu has approved the recommencement of the National Social Investment Program, earlier suspended. The decision was reviewed at the end of the Federal Executive Council meeting at the State House this Monday. State House correspondent Musbad and Wahab has more.
Second meeting of the Federal Executive Council in the year. Expectedly, memos were waiting for consideration. Most of them were to address the present socio-economic realities in the country. The interministerial panel set up 6 weeks ago to review the suspended National Social Investment Program submitted its interim report, which the Council considered. The Council approved that the viable programs, including the school feeding initiative and the conditional cash transfer, are to be sustained with modified mechanisms for better efficiency. At the briefing afterwards, the Finance and Coordinating Minister of Economy, Wale Edun, revealed that the Council believes the current situation demands an immediate reinstatement of transfer of 25,000 naira to 12 million households for the period of 3 months.
Direct payments to 12 million households comprising 60 million Nigerians is to resume immediately with the important proviso that every beneficiary will be identified by their NIN, National Identity Number, and the BVN, Bank Verification Number. And so therefore, payments will be made into bank accounts or mobile money wallets.
And what we're looking to do here is the triangulation of this data set to ensure that not only are we using the register that is properly been populated, but that we also do proper verification of every individual that will benefit from that investment, that social investment program, which means we will give commitment to ensuring that no one is paid twice, because you have to be properly ID'd before you can benefit from that program.
The government is also considering another program to boost the purchasing power of the Nigerian youth.
For the unemployed graduates as well as the society as a whole. So we have coming in the nearest future an unemployment benefit for the young unemployed in particular.
Meanwhile, the Council has approved the review of about 1,000 roads contracts across the country which have been stalled by the current forex realities. It equally approved the award of contract for the first phase of a coastal road which commences in Lagos.
Course as approved by BPP is for 47.474 kilometers. That's phase 1, section 1, and it contains 2 carriageways, 2 service lanes, 2 service ducts, provision for rail infrastructure, and on the whole, 10 lanes in all per kilometer. And the cost is 1.067 trillion naira.
From the State House, Musbao Dan Wahab, NTA News.
Meanwhile, in a landmark decision, President Bola Tinubu has approved the implementation of the age-long Arosai report. This is one of the decisions taken at this Monday's meeting of the Federal Executive Council at the State House. The report submitted by the Arosai Committee under Goodluck Ebele Jonathan in 2012 has endured successive administrations without implementation. By implication, some federal agencies would either be scrapped, merged, or relocated.
For agencies that are required to be merged, I'll take it. National Agency for Control of AIDS, HIV/AIDS, NACA, to be merged with the Center for Disease Control in the Federal Ministry of Health. National Emergency Management Agency to be merged with the National Commission for Refugee Migration and Internally Displaced Persons. The Directorate of Technical Cooperation in Africa to be merged with the Directorate of Technical Aid and to function as a department in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Infrastructure Concession and Regulatory Commission to be merged with Bureau for Public Enterprises. Nigerian Investment Promotion Commission to be merged with Nigerian Export Promotion Council. National Agency for Science and Technology and Science and Engineering Infrastructure to be merged with National Center for Agriculture Mechanization and the Project Development Institute. The National Biotechnology Development Agency to be merged with the National Center for Genetic Resource and Biotechnology. The National Institute for Leather Science Technology to be merged with the National Institute for Chemical Technology. The Nomadic Education Commission to be merged with the National Commission for Mass Literacy, Adult Education and Non-Formal Education. The Federal Radio Corporation to be merged with the Voice of Nigeria. The National Commission for Museum and Monuments to be merged with the National Gallery of Arts. The National Theatre to be merged with National Troupe of Nigeria. The National Meteorological Development Center to be merged with the National Meteorological Training Institute. The Nigerian Army University, BU, to be merged with the Nigerian Defense Academy to function as a faculty within the Nigerian Defense Academy. Air Force Institute of Technology, also to be merged with the Nigerian Defense Academy to function as a faculty of Nigerian Defense Academy. We now move to the agencies to be subsumed. The Service Compact with Nigeria Servicom to be subsumed to function as a department under the Bureau for Public Service Reform. The Border Communities Development Agency to be subsumed to function as a department under the National Boundary Commission. The National Salaries, Income and Wages Commission to be subsumed into the Revenue Mobilization and Fiscal Allocation Commission. The Institute for Peace and Conflict Resolution to be subsumed under the Institute for International Affairs. The Public Complaints Commission to be subsumed under the National Human Rights Commission. The Nigerian Institute for Trypanosomiasis to be subsumed into the Institute for Veterinary Research. The National Medicine Development Agency to be subsumed under the National Institute for Pharmaceutical Research and Development. The National Intelligence Agency Pension Commission to be subsumed under the Nigerian Pension Commission. For agencies to be relocated, the Niger Delta Power Holding Company to be relocated to the Ministry of Power. The National Agricultural Land Development Agency to be relocated to the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security. The National Blood Service Commission to be converted into an agency and relocated to the Federal Ministry of Health. The Nigerian Diaspora Commission to be converted into an agency and to be relocated to the Federal Ministry, to the Ministry of Finance.
The point is that the fact that you are merging does not necessarily mean that you are going to lose jobs. But of course, you know that efficiency will come in, and if efficiency comes in, if there is discovery that somebody is not doing what he should do, he will be supported to go elsewhere or create another avenue for him to get employed. The whole idea is not to throw people out of jobs. This is not the whole idea. The whole idea is to create efficiency and also make it possible for government to save funds where necessary.
To be headed by the Secretary to the Government of the Federation is to work out modalities for implementation. Now to the power sector. A power project tagged Light Up Nigeria has been flagged off by Vice President Kashim Shettima in the southeast. Chika Ugu reports that the project, initiated by the Niger Delta Power Holding Company, NDPHC, is in line with federal government's initiative to enhance power generation, transmission and distribution in the country.
Aba, a commercial hub of Abia State, now is sure of 24 hours power supply with the inauguration of the 20-year-old geometric power plant. It was a cheering moment for the people of Asisioma industrial layout and its environs, especially the business community, as they witnessed this long-awaited project.
This project bears testimony to the power of dreams. Dreams, when persisted, are capable of turning into realities. And I bring you glad tidings from His Excellency President Bola Ahmed Tinubu GCFR. He is mightily proud of the completion of this project, and he is equally mightily proud of Professor Naji. Leadership is very crucial in our African setting. And the late General Achebe rightly captured the problem of Nigeria is purely and essentially that of leadership. And he said our only guarantee against the worst ravages of a corrupt government is a vigilant populace that knows its rights and concern and say no to sacrilege. And today in Aba, we saw testimony to good leadership. I saw the outpouring of emotion, of love and support for Dr. Alex Oti. I was privileged to commission the Hospital Road, the Jubilee Road, and the Elova Road on behalf of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu.
The good news is that 9 out of the 17 local government areas are set to benefit from the 181 megawatts, which will promote industrialization in the entire southeast region and Nigeria at large.
The commitment of the federal government to the actualization of what started off as a pipe dream 20 years ago, the faith of the financial partners, the goodwill of the Aba business community, and very importantly, the patience of the investors tell a very exciting story of what can be achieved as Nigerians when we mobilize ourselves and resources to take on any task.
It is only when you pay your electricity bill that power companies can remain in business. I am confident that other people will henceforth be more willing to pay for electricity, as there will be a significant improvement in electricity delivery anytime from now. I'm also assuring you that the end is coming to estimated billing. You will all get your meters. You will need the actual amount you incurred. There will not be guesswork. There will be actual bills payments.
And another milestone to add up to the power project is the construction of roads within the city, and was also inaugurated by the Vice President. From Aba in Abia State, Abrahman Jibrila, NTA News.
Meanwhile, the federal government is eager to render necessary support to ensure the Azura power plant achieve its power generation capacity goal of 150 megawatts to boost contribution to national grid. The Minister of Power, Adebayo Adelabu, made this pronouncement during his assessment tour of the Azura power plant in Benin. Obayo Tebo, a press eye, report.
The minister given a tour of the facility by the managing director, Azura Power Plant, West Africa. Constructed in 2018, the plant currently has a total output of 459 megawatts. with plans to expand to 1,500 megawatts in the nearest future.
Our operational metrics are best in class, availability close to 100% at all times. So we are, and he saw what we are doing, trying to help stabilize the grid. Not just that we put power on the grid, but we also make sure that we stabilize the grid for other power plants to be able to feed to consumers.
The minister, who is clearly impressed with the privately owned power facility, said the federal government's plan to revamp the power sector will be in alignment with the Azura power plant model of operations due to its set standard.
I'm more than impressed. All of them are working. They also have an expansion plan to even install additional 3 gas plants of equivalent capacity. If that happens here, that means the issue of shortage in power supply will be a thing of the past in Nigeria.
The minister also inspected the Hobo power plant and assures that President Tinubu has met the financial obligation to address the challenge of gas supply to all government-owned power plants in the country. In Benin, Obeki Otoba Presai, NTA News.
Now to labour matters. The federal government has to a large extent implemented substantial parts of agreements reached with organised labour. Minister of State Labour and Employment Nkiriko Onyeji notes this progress as she appeals to the organised labour to shelve its planned nationwide protest and return to dialogue. Joseph Utsen reports.
The minister pointed out that it is evidence that the 35,000 naira wage award agreed on for 6 months has been paid to federal government workers, as states are also encouraged to do the same. Also, 4 months of standing salaries of ASU, as approved by the president, have been fully paid to its members, and action is ongoing to address that of other unions in the academic environment. So far, more than 3 million households, including vulnerable pensioners, benefited from the 25,000 monthly conditional cash transfer. Another key step taken to improve take-home of workers was the inauguration of a 37-member tripartite committee on national minimum wage. The committee, she says, has held 2 meetings already, while the suspension of collection of value-added tax VAT on diesel for 6 months, beginning from October 2023, was effected immediately. The minister also notes that financial commitment has been made on the provision of CNG buses and conversion kits, with a good number of buses set to be rolled out soon. Stakeholders are also engaged on tax incentives to businesses. Distribution of subsidized fertilizer was one of the major components of the October 2nd Memorandum of Understanding. This, the minister notes, government has made tremendous progress in this regard. Meanwhile, plans are in top gear to accelerate the process of job creation through the release of funds to micro and small-scale businesses. Furthermore, a joint visitation by government and organized labor to the refineries was agreed on, and that the Minister of Labour and Employment says was successfully carried out on the 21st of February 2024, where it was also established that the Port Harcourt refinery is 80% completed. Another content of the October agreement was the leadership crisis rocking NURTW and RETEN. Government waded into the matter, and the issues are amicably resolved, with the transporters operating their businesses peacefully. Though implementation of many of the agreements reached with labor leaders may take longer time, the Minister of State Labour and Employment believes the substantial progress made demonstrates government commitment in honoring the signed October 2nd agreement. In Abuja, Joseph Utsen, NTA News.
And meanwhile, Trade Union Congress of Nigeria, TUC, says it will not participate in the planned nationwide protest by the Nigeria Labour Congress, NLC. At a press conference in Abuja, President of the union, Festus Osifo, says TUC has examined the situation in the country and has drawn out solutions that it will engage the federal government with. Joseph Otsen again reports.
Persistent devaluation of the naira and increasing security challenges in many parts of the country to the Trade Union Congress of Nigeria, TUC, are the major causes of the current economic situation in the country.
You could check and recall
that between July and October, what simply happened was that there was an instruction from the financial managers to the bank chief executives telling them that all bid that is much more than 790 should be rejected. And that was how we maintained that exchange rate. We stabilized that exchange rate within that period. So what we are demanding is that we can also do something like that.
The union wants government to hasten implementation of national minimum wage to boost purchasing power of Nigerians to drive the economy.
If the minimum wage is not increased, if the masses doesn't have money to purchase, the manufacturer warehouse will be filled because you don't have money to buy.
Other solutions to the union is for the Nigerian Customs Service to reduce rate of import on some manufacturing and agricultural produce, and if possible, a waiver. While advocating for consumption of made-in-Nigerian goods, the Labour Center urges government to pay more attention on curbing crude oil theft to increase production in the country, among other issues. In Abuja, Joseph Utsen, NTA News.
Now, joining me via Zoom to talk more on the proposed NLC protest is the Director General, Michael Imodu, National Institute for Labour Studies, Comrade Issa Aremu. You're welcome to the Network News.
Thank you so much, Olajide, and to you. Convey my compliments to all the viewers.
Okay, let's set the ball rolling now. Now the organized labor movement, particularly the NLC, has vowed to go ahead with its planned two-day protest. TUC and a host of CSOs say they are not participating. What is your take on this issue?
Well, I think my take will not be different from the take of all the objectives observers of the development in the labor sector. There's a saying that show me a country where citizens cannot exercise their right of association, and you will know that that country is not democratic, that Nigeria is a democratic country. Unions have the right to organize, freely organize, convey legitimately the feelings of their members as well as the masses in a very peaceful way. So to that extent, organized labor has a right to engage in protests legitimately in a peaceful way. But at the end of the day, Olajide, I think protests are just the means. The end is the result. I absolutely agree with the Honorable Minister of State for Labor and Employment, Dr. Nkiruka Oyediocha, that substantially there has been a lot of progress in the implementation of the agreement reached with organized labor on October 2nd. We had 15-point agreement, very remarkable. I mean, I've been in the labor movement and I know that that's one of the best agreements to be reached by any government in recent time. Commendation to the President of the Republic, Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Commendation to organized labor, TUC NSC, for working that agreement, which covers wage issues, such as the implementation of presidential wage awards, the issue of inauguration of minimum wage committee, the issue of 100 billion naira for CNG buses, even the labor issues in terms of the disputes involving the leadership of Union of Road Transport as well as return in Lagos. Very comprehensive. You also had a clause saying that there will be joint inspection of progress made so far on the refineries in Port Harcourt. And I bear witness that substantially this agreement has been complied with. I mean, federal government has paid up to January, the 35,000, presidential wage award. For me, that's quite remarkable because the response to this economic crisis is about affordability for the working people. And if in the wisdom of the president, he has seen the need to improve the pay of the federal workers, I think what labor should do is to make sure that states also comply along that line. Then there has been inauguration of the National Minimum Wage Committee, very remarkable. Second meetings have taken place, and I think that's what I expect organized labor to concentrate energy on, because that takes a lot.
Okay, comrade. Let me just quickly interject here. Now, considering government's commitment to actualizing agreements reached with the organized labor, will the protest not impact negatively on the ongoing negotiations?
That's precisely what I'm saying, and I think there is, not only just impacting negatively, it also diverts the organized labor, from concentrating on this negotiation. Don't forget that, this is the 6th national minimum wage negotiation we've carried out, and for the first time, this is the most comprehensive committee, 37-member committee. You have 6 governors representing each geopolitical zone. You have employers of labor, you have organized labor. I think we need more energy, more to concentrate to get a wiser outcome at that level. And don't also forget in that agreement, number 13 of the collective agreement, this was reached on October 2nd, says that all the parties will operate within the dictates of social dialogue, which means that as long as implementation of this agreement subsides, all of us will abide by the need for negotiation, no unnecessary pressure. Government should not lock out workers, so also we should not put undue pressure. So if I want to cancel my comrades, and I think they are doing a very good job, I think we should close ranks together with TUC and make sure that, we resume back to negotiation in a very organized manner, But whatever the outcome of it, right to association is fundamental, if you want to do so, but make sure it's peaceful. But Olajide, that's just the means. The end is the results. And I think that so far, there has been substantial compliance with that agreement. I agree with the Honorable Minister of State, for employment, Nkiruka Oyediocha, that we should return back to negotiation and make sure that we quickly, make sure that the minimum wage committee headed by the former head of service, Abaji, quickly complete its negotiation and in a way that we can have win-win for the working people.
Comrade, very briefly now, just before I let you go, as a former vice president of the NLC and the general secretary of the trade union, what are your suggestions for a peaceful resolution, briefly?
Well, I think my suggestion would be that if the organized labor operates separately, I think they won't be able to get good results collectively. And I think there's need for both NLC, TUC, to put us together and make sure that we'll return back to negotiation table. They've already have a very good agreement in our hands. I've been in this business for long, and I think what we need is to get the result. Because after the protest, workers will ask us, what are the results? Are the results already on the table? So my advice would be that we should just go back to negotiating table through social dialogue.
All right, many thanks. And my guest has been the Director General Michael Imodu, National Institute for Labour Studies, Comrade Issa Remo. Many thanks for your thoughts on the Network News.
Thank you, Olajide.
Okay, moving on. The Nigeria Police Force reiterates commitment to ensure the fundamental rights and freedom of protesters are protected. The force says it has deployed personnel nationwide and placed them on red alert to monitor the planned protest. At invite, all commissioners of police and their respective supervisory assistant inspectors general of police have been briefed and instructed to coordinate their officers on ground to ensure safety and security of all participants. While recognizing the importance of peaceful protest, the force says it remains vigilant against any attempt to hijack such protests by individuals or group of persons with sinister intents. Meanwhile, the Inspector General of Police urges participants to conduct themselves peacefully and responsibly, adhere to the principles of non-violence and respect for rights of others. He also calls on the organizers to cooperate with the police and other relevant security agencies. You're watching the Network News. More reports when we return. Welcome back. A report just reaching us says the federal government has appealed to the organized labor to reconsider its planned protest in the interest of the nation. The organized labor is planning a nationwide protest to commence on Tuesday, the 27th of February 2024. The Minister of Information and National Orientation, Muhammad Idris, called on the Nigeria Labour Congress, NLC, to shelve the planned protest as the government is fulfilling its own side of the earlier agreement with the organized labor.
All the 15 points that were agreed upon with labor in the last quarter of last year, in October last year, they have almost all been fulfilled. Over 80% compliance by the federal government. And so that is why government sometimes is baffled about the need for the Nigerian Labour Congress to think that it is appropriate for it to embark on a strike at this point. But they are Nigerians, they are brothers and sisters. Federal government keeps calling on them, and we are not going to relent in drawing their attention to the need for them to see reason with government. Why government is going through, and Nigeria is going through challenges of the moment. We don't think that it is the right time for Labour to embark on any kind of protest or whatsoever.
Now to the legislature. Creation of state police is among issues of priority as the 10th National Assembly kickstarts the Constitution Amendment process with the inauguration of the Constitution Review Committee in both chambers. National Assembly correspondent Lami Ali reports that the Senate's Constitution Review Committee, chaired by the Deputy President of the Senate, Barau Jibrin, is hopeful of concluding the exercise within 24 months.
Constitution is dynamic as it goes with time and situation on ground. For this reason, the Constitution Review is carried out in each session of the National Assembly to engender positive change in the polity. One that readily comes to mind is the Not Too Young to Run bill, which enabled youth participation in governance. The removal of electricity from the exclusive to the concurrent legislative list is also another landmark achievement. Under the 10th Assembly, the call for creation of state police is being regarded as the most amplified issue.
We represent the people, and the law must be the people's law.
The Senate Constitution Review Committee is upbeat and assures that all interest groups will be given a voice in the course of the exercise.
What we want to do is to amend the Constitution in line with the wishes and aspirations of the people of this country.
We are not expected to do business as usual. A lot of issues will have to be dealt with.
One critical area which I would like this particular committee to address is the question of time.
There is a need for us to possibly create special participation of the youth in this process, and women in this process, and diaspora. Diaspora will take advantage of technology.
We should try as much as possible to avoid going into controversial areas.
We have a debt with history. We shouldn't take this job very lightly.
For a constitution amendment bill to become law, it must enjoy the support of 2/3 of both chambers of the National Assembly, 2/3 of votes in 24 state assemblies, and assent of the President. Lami Ali, NTA News.
Now to the education sector. The National Examination Council, NECO, has released the 2023 External Senior School Certificate Examination results, with 67.35% of candidates obtaining 5 credits and above, including mathematics and English language. Registrar and Chief Executive of the examination body, Professor Dantani Ibrahim Wushishi, presented the results to newsmen and stakeholders at the council's headquarters in Mina. Fatima Usman reports.
The release of the result of the 2023 Senior School Certificate Examination SSCE External is culmination of the examination process written between Monday 20th November to Wednesday 20th December 2023. 74,950 candidates registered for the examination. However, 604 of these candidates did not turn up. The performance of these candidates is arguably successful according to the statistics.
For English language, 75.59% got credit and above. For mathematics, 92.75% got credit and above. 67.35% got 5 credits and above, including English language and mathematics. 84.11% got 5 credits and above irrespective of English language and mathematics.
Though there is a decline of 25.4% in the cases of malpractices as compared to that of the 2023, the process was not free of it.
The number of candidates booked for various forms of malpractice is 8,518 candidates as against 11,419 in 2022, which shows a decline.
The National Examination Council also unveiled its automated annual posting calendar tagged e-posting, a software designed to address the myriad of problems associated with posting the council staff, such as alleged favoritism and loopsidedness. In Mina, I am Fatima Usman, NTA News.
28,137 candidates that sat for the National Business and Technical Examinations Board NABTEB 2023 November-December examinations have obtained 5 credits and above, including English language and mathematics. The Registrar and Chief Executive NABTEB, Professor Ifeoma Isiugo, reveals this when announcing the results of the National Business Certificate (NBC), National Technical Certificate (NTC), Advanced National Business Certificate (ANBC), and Advanced National Technical Certificate (ANTC) examinations for private candidates. Elizabeth Omoko takes it from here.
A total of 43,594 candidates, consisting of 26,004 males and 17,590 females, enrolled for the exams in 1,746 centers, while 39,478 sat for the exams. Of the results released, 28,137 candidates obtained 5 credits, including English and mathematics, representing 71% of the total number of students that sat for the exams. 94.93% of 37,476 candidates scored 5 credits and above, with or without English language and mathematics, a slight reduction compared to that of year 2022.
At the advanced level, out of 3,829 candidates that sat for the various trades at the mastercraft level, 2,099 candidates, which is 54.82%, were certified as master craftsmen. So we're adding to the development of the nation. This also is an improvement over the 2022 performance, where 48.63% were certified as master craftsmen.
Amidst challenges faced by the board in achieving the desired target for technical and vocational education and training to vets, the NABTEB Chief Executive announced a new technological advancement in the processing and collection of certificates.
The board has finally put in place the electronic process of issuing certificates to candidates online without waste of time. Certificates of all previous examinations, previous years conducted by NABTEB.
The board informed the public to take advantage of the ongoing registration for the 2024 exam online. In Benin, Elizabeth Omoko, NTA News.
Time now to join Adiola in Lagos with happenings from that zone. Good evening, Adiola.
Good evening, Olajide. Good to see you. For there to be a robust national maritime and blue economy policy that will effectively regulate the sector, a viable legal framework must be created to help the country harness untapped potential in line with global best practices. These were the views of the leadership of the Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency, NIMASA, as it recorded near-zero security issues in 2023. Amaka Owo reports that this was stated during an oversight visit by the House Committee on Maritime Safety, Education and Administration.
You
You say blue economy.
This is the first encounter between the legislators and the leadership of NIMASA since the inauguration of the 10th National Assembly in 2023. This meeting is to further strengthen the aspirations of the present administration in the creation of the marine and blue economy. Executive member of the Maritime Law Association advocates speedy passage of the Cabotage Amendment Bill 2003, review of other moribund clauses in existing acts such as the Fisheries Act to regulate poaching along the nation's waterways.
There seems to be certain lacuna on how to make this ministry legally viable. Hence, I'm advocating for a marine and blue economy policy.
Director General NIMASA Bashir Jamo said the agency contributed about 41.90 billion naira in 2023 to the federal government revenue base, among other economic contributions.
Nigeria is a leading country in the Gulf of Guinea, and we want to make sure that we do not only secure our own territorial waters, but we increase the issue of policing of our water to have Gulf of Guinea inclusive.
The leadership of the House Committee promised to play the required constitutional role in addressing loopholes in the existing framework for better economic benefits from the sector.
Whatever the agency needs to be provided for efficient delivery of the core mandate of the agency, the committee will not hesitate.
Marine and blue economy alone can fund the Nigerian budget. If we put our acts together, we will launch the bills to close the gap, so that the agency and the sector can be properly positioned.
Emphases were also made for the acquisition of a national shipping line for job opportunities in the sector. In Lagos, Amaka O, NTA News.
The Nigerian Customs Service says that it is working with the Apex Bank and other financial authorities with the sole aim of solving the volatility issues surrounding the exchange. This assurance is coming on the heels of concerns expressed by freight forwarders that the unstable forex is affecting business planning. Michael Olaleye reports.
Trade, like any other universal venture, heavily depends on foreign exchange to thrive. And for domestic businesses to survive, especially in an import-dependent economy, accessibility and affordability of forex is key. The concern here revolves around the possibility of normalizing increasing prices of commodity, and this can only be determined by a stable foreign rates. At the port, for instance, the frequent adjustment of the import duty, business owners believe, is negating the federal government's quest to revive the economy.
Interbank exchange rate does not fluctuate every day. That stays for some time. So why don't you do this with exchange rate used in computing import duty? That is all we are asking them to do. So that when you want to go into any trade, you can do some study, how much it is the landing cost, and know how much you are going to sell it upon landing, even the manufacturers.
While efforts are on to stimulate an increase in the volume of imports into the country, the federal government is mindful of the effect this could have on its maritime goal of establishing a one-stop shop for clearing of goods in the region. And efforts are on to solve the forex challenge.
One of the options that we have proposed and we are considering is the use of spot rates. Spot rates would be valid for a period of time. That period of time will be jointly agreed, consultation with stakeholders and the authorities of Central Bank and Nigeria Customs Service.
Stakeholders say getting the issue resolved will be in the interest of the federal government and Nigerians at large. In Lagos, Michael Olaleye, NTA News.
And we're done from Lagos, so take a break now. More news when we return. Please stay.
Many thanks for being there. The Nigeria Customs Service has announced the temporary suspension of its food disposal initiative until it can establish what transpired on February 23rd, 2024 at its old zonal headquarters, Yaba, Lagos, where some fatalities and injuries were recorded. A statement from the Public Relations Officer of the service, Abdullahi Wada, states that Customs responded to President Bola Tinubu's directive to alleviate hardship faced by Nigerians, but emphasized the crowd became charged when it ran out of stock. He says Nigeria Customs Service extends its heartfelt condolences to the families of those who lost their lives during the unfortunate incident. Another break beckons. NTA Network News continues shortly. Thanks for being there. And before we go, we do apologize for not bringing you the business news segment of this is due to want of time. And that's it on the Network News. Many thanks for being a part of it. I am Olajide Bello.